The Truth About Finding Inner Peace, an audiobook by Rooted in Self-Love. Before we begin, I wanted to thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I am building a community of women that are stepping into their power and living to their full potential. There is a lot to look forward to in this journey. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any videos or updates on resources and activities in the community. Chapter 1, The Illusion of Instant Peace. We live in a world that sells us the idea of instant gratification in every area of life, so it's no surprise that many approach inner peace as if it, too, could be achieved with a single meditation app, a self-help book, or a weekend retreat. The truth, however, is that inner peace is not a product to buy or a goal to check off. It is a practice, a lifelong journey that unfolds in layers, often in ways we cannot yet see or control. Many of us resist this truth because discomfort is inherently uncomfortable. We want to skip the messy parts, the confrontations with our own fears, the moments of doubt, the evenings spent wrestling with unanswered questions. Yet these experiences are the soil from which genuine peace grows. To pretend we can bypass them is to settle for a shallow calm, easily disturbed by the first storm of life. Embracing this journey requires a radical shift in perspective. Peace is not found by eliminating struggle. It is found by learning to move through it with awareness, compassion, and courage. This means noticing the tension in your body when anxiety arises, sitting with your emotions instead of numbing them, and observing the thoughts that once seemed unbearable without judgment. It is in these small, intentional acts that the seeds of real tranquility take root. Consider for a moment how water becomes still. A rushing river does not achieve calm by stopping abruptly. It finds stillness as it flows, gradually settling, responding to every obstacle and current along the way. Inner peace works in the same way. You cannot force it, but you can cultivate the conditions for it to emerge naturally through patience, self-kindness, and mindful attention to your inner life. By releasing the myth of instant peace, you allow yourself to engage with life authentically, to experience the fullness of human emotion, and to move toward a deeper, unshakable serenity. This chapter is an invitation. Let go of the idea that peace should come quickly, and open yourself to the richness of the journey. Only there will true, lasting tranquility reveal itself. Chapter 2. You can't control everything. One of the most uncomfortable truths on the path to inner peace is this: you cannot control everything. No amount of planning, perfectionism, or willpower can stop life from presenting its twists, turns, and unexpected storms. We cling to control because it gives the illusion of safety, but this illusion often becomes the source of our greatest frustration and anxiety. Accepting life's unpredictability is not a resignation. It is a form of courage. It requires looking directly at the chaos of existence and saying, I may not direct every outcome, but I can choose how I respond. True inner peace grows in this space between what you can influence and what you must release. Trying to micromanage every detail, every interaction, every feeling is exhausting and ultimately futile. The more you cling, the more life pushes back. Letting go begins with awareness. Notice the areas of your life where control has become a burden. Is it your work, your relationships, or perhaps your own emotions? Ask yourself which outcomes truly matter and which you are attempting to force unnecessarily. Often, you'll discover that most of the stress you carry is born not from reality itself, but from your resistance to it. Once you recognize what is beyond your control, you can cultivate strategies to release it. Mindful breathing, journaling, or even verbal affirmations such as, I release what I cannot change, act as gentle reminders that peace comes not from manipulating the world, but from shaping your inner state. You can still act with intention and responsibility, but from a place of acceptance rather than desperation. Imagine life as the ocean. You cannot command the waves, but you can learn to float, to navigate, and to move gracefully with their rhythm. Inner peace is the art of this navigation. It is about understanding that control is a tool, not a tether, and that freedom and serenity arise when we stop gripping so tightly. By embracing the limits of control, you open the door to a calmer, more resilient self. Peace begins not with changing the world, but with changing your relationship to it and to yourself. Chapter 3. Your mind is not your friend. One of the harshest realities on the path to inner peace is that your mind is not always your ally. It has a tendency to betray you, cycling endlessly through fears, regrets, and anxieties, often at the most inconvenient moments. We are conditioned to believe that thinking more or analyzing harder will solve our problems, but too often the mind simply amplifies discomfort instead of easing it. Acknowledging this truth is uncomfortable, but essential. The first step toward real inner peace is realizing that negative thoughts are not personal failures. They are habitual patterns. Your mind has evolved to keep you alert, to anticipate danger, and to replay past experiences in an effort to protect you. Unfortunately, it often overestimates threats and underestimates your capacity to cope, leaving you trapped in cycles of worry and self-criticism. The temptation is to ignore, suppress, or distract yourself from these thoughts. Yet, avoidance only gives them power. True self-awareness, and by extension, genuine peace, requires leaning into the discomfort. It involves observing thoughts without judgment, noticing when the mind is spinning, and recognizing that thoughts are not commands. They are signals, not truths. Practical strategies can help shift this relationship. Mindful meditation, journaling, and naming recurring thoughts as stories rather than facts create space between you and the mind's chatter. For example, when worry arises, acknowledge it. There's the story about failure again, and gently return to the present. Over time, this practice weakens the mind's grip and allows clarity and calm to emerge. Imagine standing beside a stormy river. The water swirls and crashes, but if you remain on the bank, observing rather than jumping in, you begin to understand its patterns without being swept away. Your mind, like that river, will always churn. Peace comes when you learn to witness without drowning. Confronting the mind's negativity is not easy, but it is transformative. By seeing your thoughts for what they are, transient, imperfect, and sometimes misleading, you reclaim authority over your inner world. The journey to peace begins with this uncomfortable yet liberating self-awareness. Chapter 4. Pain is non-negotiable. One of the most uncomfortable truths about inner peace is that pain is unavoidable. Loss, heartbreak, failure, and disappointment are not exceptions to the human experience. They are essential elements of it. Many of us spend a lifetime running from discomfort, distracting ourselves with work, social media, or numbing habits, believing that peace can exist without pain. The reality is the opposite. Avoiding suffering only delays the clarity and resilience that come from truly facing it. Pain is a teacher, though it rarely feels like one in the moment. It strips away illusions, exposes vulnerability, and forces us to confront aspects of ourselves we might otherwise ignore. When embraced consciously, suffering becomes a catalyst for growth. Heartbreak teaches empathy. Failure cultivates humility, and loss deepens our appreciation for life's fleeting beauty. Each experience shapes our inner landscape, creating the soil in which authentic peace can take root. Leaning into pain does not mean seeking it out or romanticizing suffering. It means allowing yourself to feel fully without judgment or resistance. When grief or disappointment arises, acknowledge it, sit with it, ask, what is this teaching me? How can I respond with presence rather than avoidance? These moments of conscious engagement transform suffering from a force that destabilizes you into one that strengthens you. Practical tools can support this process. Journaling emotions, speaking to a trusted friend or therapist, and practicing mindful breathing during difficult moments help you stay present with pain rather than fleeing from it. Over time, these practices create a paradoxical freedom. The more you accept life's inevitability of suffering, the less power it holds over your peace. Imagine walking through a storm. You cannot stop the rain or the wind, but you can adjust your posture, breathe deeply, and move forward with awareness. Pain, like the storm, is inevitable, but it is also temporary. By embracing it fully, you build resilience, deepen self-understanding, and cultivate the clarity necessary for lasting inner peace. The journey toward serenity is never pain-free, but it is rich, transformative, and profoundly human. Learning to lean into what hurts is not optional. It is non-negotiable. Chapter 5. Others don't owe you peace. It is a hard truth, but one that lies at the heart of true inner peace. Others do not owe you serenity. We often look outward for calm, seeking validation, love, or acceptance to soothe our anxiety. Yet, this dependence is a trap. When peace is contingent on someone else's behavior, moods, or approval, it becomes fragile, fleeting, and ultimately out of reach. Expecting others to provide what only you can cultivate is a recipe for disappointment. Whether it's a partner, friend, or family member, no one can fully protect you from life's inevitable storms. External validation may feel comforting in the short term, but it cannot replace the deep, stable sense of calm that arises from within. True inner peace is self-sovereign. It emerges when you take full responsibility for your emotional state, independent of external circumstances. This is not about rejecting connection or love. Human relationships are valuable, nourishing, and enriching. The difference lies in intention. You can enjoy the presence and support of others without making it the foundation of your peace. The moment your sense of calm depends on another person's behavior, you surrender control over your inner world. Practical strategies help solidify this independence. Regular self-reflection, mindfulness practices, and affirmations such as, I am responsible for my own peace, remind you that serenity is cultivated internally, not imported externally. When conflict, criticism, or rejection arises, pause, breathe, and return to your center rather than seeking immediate reassurance. Over time, this strengthens your emotional resilience and reinforces the truth that peace is a personal creation, not a gift to be received. Imagine building a house on solid ground versus a foundation of sand. Dependence on others is like sand, shifting, unstable, unpredictable. Self-generated peace is solid ground, enduring regardless of the weather around you. By releasing the expectation that anyone else owes you tranquility, you reclaim your sovereignty, your freedom, and your power. The journey toward inner peace is inward, not outward. Once you own this, serenity is no longer conditional. It becomes your constant companion. Chapter 6. You must face your shadow. True inner peace is not a product of perfection. It is forged in the willingness to face the parts of yourself you may prefer to ignore, your doubts, fears, impulses, and hidden judgments. These aspects, often called the shadow, are not flaws to be erased, but parts of your humanity to be understood and integrated. Avoiding them may feel safer, but it comes at the cost of authentic serenity. Shadow work is the practice of bringing these hidden elements into conscious awareness. It is uncomfortable, often confronting, and at times unsettling. Yet it is also transformative. By acknowledging the shadow, you illuminate the unconscious patterns that sabotage your calm, compassion, and clarity. The fears and impulses that once seemed to arise randomly begin to make sense. You start to recognize triggers, understand emotional reactions, and reclaim control over responses that previously felt automatic. The first step in shadow work is honesty. Notice your recurring judgments, fears, or resentments without self-criticism. Ask yourself, what part of me is expressing through this emotion? Journaling can be a powerful tool here, allowing thoughts to surface safely and without judgment. Meditation, reflection, or guided shadow exercises can also help you explore these hidden territories gradually, providing insight and self-compassion along the way. It is important to remember that shadow work is not about punishment or shame. It is about integration. When you embrace your darker aspects with curiosity rather than fear, you neutralize their power to disrupt your inner peace. Like a room previously cluttered with unseen obstacles, your mind becomes more spacious, organized, and capable of calm. Imagine meeting a storm within yourself. You could fight it, flee from it, or simply observe it, understanding its origin and its patterns. Choosing observation and integration transforms the storm from a source of chaos into a teacher of strength. Facing your shadow is uncomfortable but necessary. It is the pathway to unshakable serenity, the deeper awareness that allows peace to thrive even in life's inevitable turbulence. Inner peace is not achieved by avoiding darkness. It emerges when you bring all parts of yourself into the light. Chapter 7. Letting go is harder than holding on. Letting go is one of life's most uncomfortable truths. It is often far harder than holding on. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a lingering regret, or an old identity we've clung to for years, release demands courage, patience, and a willingness to feel deeply. And yet, it is precisely this process that clears the path to genuine inner peace. Attachment can feel like security. We hold on to people, patterns, or past experiences because they are familiar, even if they bring pain. This familiarity creates the illusion of control, the comforting lie that if we just keep holding on, life will feel safe. In reality, attachment keeps us tethered to emotional turbulence. It perpetuates anxiety, resentment, and self-doubt, draining the very energy that could be devoted to serenity and growth. True release begins with acknowledgement, naming what no longer serves you, admitting its grip, and feeling the discomfort of its absence are essential steps. Letting go is rarely a single act. It is a series of small, intentional decisions practiced over time. Allow yourself to grieve what you lose, to honor the part of your life that mattered, and to recognize that freedom lies on the other side of this pain. Practical strategies help ease the process. Journaling your emotions, setting clear boundaries, and using affirmations such as, "I release what no longer serves me," create tangible ways to reinforce detachment. Mindful meditation or reflective walks can help you observe attachment patterns without judgment, cultivating a sense of inner strength and clarity. Imagine holding a heavy stone in your hand. The longer you clutch it, the more it weighs you down. Letting go does not diminish its significance. It simply frees you to walk forward without being burdened. Release transforms the soul because it restores your agency. You reclaim space in your heart and mind, allowing peace, joy, and self-love to flourish. Letting go is difficult, but it is also the most profound gift you can give yourself, a liberation that no external circumstance can take away. Chapter 8. Solitude isn't loneliness. Many of us fear silence and solitude, confusing them with loneliness. In a world designed to keep us constantly connected through social media, work, and endless distractions, being alone can feel uncomfortable, even threatening. Yet the truth is that peace often resides in these quiet, unshared spaces, waiting for us to discover it. Solitude is not about isolation or withdrawal. It is about presence. It is the practice of being fully with yourself without the need for validation, entertainment, or constant stimulation. In these moments, you begin to hear your own thoughts, recognize your true desires, and feel your emotions without external interference. Solitude becomes a mirror, reflecting your inner world with clarity. The discomfort that arises in solitude is natural. Without the noise of others to distract us, we are confronted with our fears, doubts, and insecurities. Many try to escape this discomfort, filling every moment with activity or chatter, but avoiding silence only postpones peace. True contentment emerges when we allow ourselves to sit with our inner experience, observing it without judgment, and recognizing that being alone does not mean being unworthy or unloved. Practical practices can help you embrace solitude. Start small. Spend 10 minutes each day without your phone, without music, without distraction. Use that time to breathe, journal, or simply notice your thoughts and emotions. Gradually, these moments expand, allowing you to develop self-reliance and an unshakable sense of calm. Imagine standing on the shore of a quiet lake, the water still and clear, reflecting the sky above. Solitude is like this lake. Stillness allows reflection, clarity, and depth. Only when you are comfortable in your own presence can you approach life from a place of peace, rather than from a need for external reassurance. Solitude isn't a void. It is a sanctuary. It is where your thoughts, your feelings, and your essence can be fully known and honored. By embracing it, you cultivate a lasting serenity that no external circumstance can disturb, and you discover that being alone can be profoundly enriching, not empty. Chapter 9, you will fail, and that's okay. One of the most uncomfortable truths about inner peace is that failure is inevitable. No matter how committed you are to growth, setbacks will occur. Plans will falter, emotions will overwhelm, and old habits will resurface. The desire for perfection is a natural impulse, but it is also a barrier. Inner peace does not demand flawlessness. It demands present self-compassion and the courage to continue despite imperfection. Failure is often seen as shameful, something to hide or regret, but when approached differently, it becomes a teacher, offering lessons that comfort and success never could. Every misstep exposes areas where patience, understanding, or acceptance is needed. It challenges ego-driven expectations and reminds you that you are human, not infallible. Each failure, no matter how small, is an opportunity to practice gentleness with yourself and to strengthen resilience. The key lies in reframing your relationship with failure. Rather than seeing it as evidence of inadequacy, view it as feedback. Ask, what is this moment teaching me? How can I respond with grace and curiosity? This shift transforms anxiety into insight, shame into growth, and disappointment into clarity. Journaling, reflection, and mindful pauses help you notice patterns without judgment, creating space for constructive understanding rather than self-condemnation. consider the nature of learning itself. Few skills are mastered without repeated mistakes. A musician fumbles, a writer rewrites, an athlete falls countless times. The path to mastery and to inner peace is paved with imperfection. By embracing your failures rather than fearing them, you cultivate humility, patience, and a gentle self-compassion that strengthens serenity. Imagine holding a delicate glass. It may crack or chip, but with careful attention and care, it continues to hold beauty and function. Your journey toward peace is much the same. Each failure adds depth, perspective, and resilience, creating a foundation for lasting calm. Failing does not mean you are broken. It means you are human. Accepting this truth opens the door to freedom, growth, and a peace that is unshakable because it is rooted not in perfection, but in authenticity. Chapter 10, Peace is a practice, not a permanent state. The ultimate truth about inner peace is that it is not a destination or a permanent state of bliss. Life is unpredictable, emotions fluctuate, and challenges are inevitable. To expect constant serenity is to set yourself up for disappointment. True peace is not a static achievement. It is a practice, a way of engaging with yourself and the world that requires awareness, patience, and intentional effort. Peace grows in the everyday moments, in the choices you make when life feels messy or overwhelming. It is found in the pauses between chaos, in the mindful breaths you take when anxiety rises, and in the gentle self-compassion you offer when mistakes occur. These practices, repeated consistently, form the foundation of a calm and resilient inner life. Daily rituals are the scaffolding of lasting serenity. Simple acts, morning meditation, journaling, mindful walking, or consciously observing your thoughts without judgment remind you that peace is cultivated, not acquired. Setting boundaries, releasing what you cannot control, and nurturing your connection with yourself further reinforce this practice. Each conscious decision to return to presence strengthens your capacity to remain grounded amidst life's inevitable storms. It is important to remember that lapses are natural. You will experience frustration, impatience, or fear, even after years of practice. These moments are not failures. They are reminders to return to awareness, to breathe, and to continue practicing presence. Serenity is less about perfection and more about persistence, less about avoiding chaos, and more about responding to it with clarity and intention. Imagine tending a garden. You cannot make every plant grow perfectly, nor can you stop the weather from changing. But with consistent care, attention, and patience, the garden flourishes, even amidst unpredictability. Inner peace works the same way. So, ask yourself, how can I practice presence, acceptance, and self-compassion today, even when life is imperfect? Share your reflections in the comments. Your insight might inspire someone else. If this audiobook has guided you toward awareness and calm, support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Remember, peace is not a place to reach, but a path to walk every single day. Until next time, stay rooted in self-love,